I get that Sony has the self-control of a 5-year-old hopped up on sugar screaming, "Now more Venoms," but, like, this one, seriously?
I'm with you to the end.
More Venom because it might actually make money on, like, Morbius and Madam Web, and probably Kraven the Hunter. Also, we're going to release it like the same month, basically, as Kraven the Hunter, because it's better if all of our tragedies are wrapped up in the same news cycle, right? Also, let's give it the subheader of a Magic Mike film, because... No, what the fuck is up with that? Yeah. Venom is back, and look, I know it was a little bit dull in the first film when he was mostly just fighting humans, and then in the second film they made it surprisingly dull when he was, even had carnage and stuff in there. But for the third film, we thought, why don't we just go back to having him fight humans again? We kind of have not really, no. It feels like just another sequel. It does have some traditionally annoying threequel parts, like dumping most of the original side characters off a cliff, just randomly picking up new ones. It's very upsetting to me, frankly. And I've got to say, the start, when Tom Hardy arrives back in his universe, and he's like, oh, we were in a parallel universe, whatever. Oh, we're still wanted, cool. That whole thing felt like the most jarring, sudden exposition dump since somehow Palpatine has returned. And I gotta tell you, I really hated it. It was so annoying to me, and it just irritating right from the get-go. I was sitting there like, oh, that is like 101 ways not to start a film. Call me crazy, but if in the opening fight... first act against this scary enemy thing, you shred it in a jet engine so it is broken down to the tiniest pieces possible and it immediately regenerates, I feel like your film might get a little bit fucking boring. I might feel for the rest of the film like, oh, it doesn't matter what you do to this thing, it's going to be completely fine. I might feel like you don't have a single chance of killing it, and seeing all of these other like symbiotes attacking them, I'm not going to get excited about that because I have no reason to think that they're actually going to be able to defeat it. Maybe we can get over that problem by relating to the kids, like having a teenage girl say something like, this guy is so one of those serial killer hitchhikers from my favorite murder podcast. What up, fellow youths? The thing is that the entire film becomes about them trying to tease that these two might die. And it's trying to romanticize the weirdest shit. Like, it's trying to be like, Eddie, let's go to New York. I want to see New York. It's so beautiful, Eddie. This is the same thing that just bites people's heads off for fun. Like, they skipped the big Las Vegas ending they could have done. Why? I guess money. And I'm left feeling like every single Venom entry is just wasted potential. Honestly, like, the first one was quite funny. It held its own mostly through being funnier than we expected. The second and third ones have just tried to do the same thing with the same kind of jokes, and it's really worn thin, leaving them with nothing by this point. Because they're not putting the budget in to actually carry out the ideas that they could with these storylines. If these were comic books, and you just had to draw them, or animated movies, they would be way cooler, okay? The Venom vs. Carnage thing was disappointing to me. It was a bit of a bummer. And then this one... man, I was imagining big finale Venom to Eddie. They take their final stand with other symbiotes against a rain of these creatures from Null flying down. Maybe Null himself. No. It is like, it feels like they've taken the story and then instead of turning it up to 11, they turned it down to about a 3. And they're like, yeah, that's safe. That'll work, right? That'll still make money. That is how Sony's entire thing seems to work. All of their Spider-Man universe movies are bad. Venom is just the most bearable, but they're still not great. I also feel like Juno Temple's character, I don't know if they want to do something more with her in the future, but man, they must have cut out like 20 minutes of exposition for her because her story felt so underbaked. I did not know what her character was or why. It was not a huge disappointment because I didn't expect that much from it at this stage, but it was mildly disappointing and subpar, which is as good a word as I've ever used to describe a Sony Spider-Man universe film, I think. The funniest thing to me is that they thought they'd earned a big emotional series of flashbacks at the end. They did not, man. And I'm giving Sony The Last Chance 2 stars. So irritating to see all these people dying and think, oh, they keep talking, Eddie and Venom, about being heroes. One of you could just die and stop all of the... Yeah. No, that's a lot of people dying for you if you want to be a hero. Anyway, if you like movie reviews with a little pinch of mental health problems, subscribe.